going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Ryman. Oh, Jesus, what do you call yourself? Just Ryman. It's your boy Ryman here. Welcome to Movie Talks podcast. Yep, we
Oh,
are
it's not that
really
easy, is it?
good. No, it's on
Yeah,
the spot.
yeah. Pressure got to him.
You do such a good job.
Yeah, see, it's practice.
Yeah, welcome. It's Lawson this time. I'm here with my co-host Ryman.
Oh, I've been demoted. I gave
Yeah,
you a little bit of spotlight, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna run with this." Not sure you're gonna get the power back.
yeah. I'm flustered. I don't like it. I like a back seat. I'm good. I'm good in the back. Let's go.
There's so many jokes.
I know.
uh,
Intentional.
Keep going. I want to see
Oh
you bully
golly.
your way through this one.
Oh, what am I doing next? You could be anywhere, but you're here. Thanks for being here.
So that's
We
the outro.
That's the outro. We are finished. We love you. Have a great night. Bye bye.
All right, let's rewind. Oh, welcome
Okay,
to
no, we're using three
yeah,
things today. We're doing three movies.
we are.
We are. We're doing Troll. We're doing Warriors of Future, which is a Hong Kong film. And we're doing the Batman. But before we do all that, we normally start with some movie news.
Yeah, well, that wasn't bad. It got better as we went on. So episode
Yeah.
16, we wanted to throw you guys off a little bit with some improv of trying to beat each other, but after
It was a
that
mistake. It was a huge mistake. He was better in rehearsals,
what rehearsals?
right?
Yeah, we probably need to after that rendition. But we've got those three movies. This is a Netflix special, even though just because the Batman did get released on Netflix for you. But before we get into it, movie news is going to change up slightly because I just want to tell you three things that I've made shorts on two of them, but mainly I want a discussion because I'm going to tell you about this film and I want to know if you think this is going to be a hit or a miss, I reckon. So there's a new movie that is coming out in February 2023. It is based on a true story, and it is about a bear that induces a lot of cocaine and goes on a murderous rampage.
Yeah, it's Cocaine Bear, right? It's called Cocaine Bear.
It's called Cocaine Bear.
I've been tagged in this on Facebook.
Yeah. Have you watched the trailer?
Not really, like not properly. I just saw a lot of chaos and bears. Does it actually look decent, or does it look like I don't know.
It's one of those movies where you get hyped for the trailer because you want it to be in that sort of dumb fun comedy sort of realm where it really depends on how they execute with it.
Yeah.
So it could be brilliant or it could be one of those sort of try hard. What was that vampire hunting movie that we watched that was just shocking?
I've already forgotten the name. Yeah. It was very forgettable.
Yeah, because you could end up down that route where it's just absolutely terrible. You could end up, what was that studio? I can't remember. We watched Jurassic Domination.
The Asylum.
Yeah, it could be like down that route, but like better because the trailer looks like fun. It looks like you've got that sort of. I guess the bear is heavily CGI'd, and there is like those slow-mos over the topness, but it looks exciting in terms of where they're going to go with it. Because like a lot of the stuff, I'm hoping they haven't showed everything in the trailer, and it's like there are a lot of funny one-liners. And
it looks to me a little like there was this Russian movie in 2017 called Guardians.
Oh, I remember that one. That was nuts.
Yeah. I'm hoping it goes down that sort of road, just over the top, ridiculous. I mean, it's called Cocaine Bear. It needs to be almost a mess to the point where it's fucking hilarious. It needs to be balls to the wall, stupid. Yeah. So if it is, then there's possibility for goodness.
I mean,
we'll see.
The trailer has definitely got the right pacing. Like it's really quick and it's really like, here's a one-liner, here's some action, here's back to the one-liners. Like that's what I want. I want that action, that over-the-top action to the character I guess, being over the top with some actual funny one-liners.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I don't care if it's made well. I just want it to be the comedy to be written well. Like I don't watch. I'm not going to watch this expecting a fucking masterpiece of cinema. I'm watching it to be over the top, ridiculous, silly. So if they can nail that, then I'm in.
yeah. So I'm hoping that they can.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. That's essentially what I wanted to talk about. Is Cocaine Bear
Sure.
looks
Cocaine
nuts.
Bear.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, I will watch the trailer after we record.
Yeah.
I'm real curious now.
Because it looks nuts. But the next one
Mm-hmm.
is Daisy, the girl that plays Ray on Star Wars. I can't remember her last name.
Daisy Williams.
Yeah,
I think.
whatever her name is. She has put some cryptic stuff on socials that she may be returning to the Star Wars universe. So she's put on there
Okay.
that she's had a meeting with Lucasfilms. And I wanted to get your take on, are you excited if they continue on with another, I guess they like their trilogies, another trilogy focusing on, I guess, Rey, because at the end
Yeah.
of, what was it, the Skywalker sagas, they had Rey with the yellow lightsaber. And I want to explore that a little bit more in terms of the crystals, because they never really explain anything about the lightsaber crystals that
No,
much.
they don't in the movies really at all. My understanding of yellow, you know what? I'm gonna look this up because I watched a whole bunch of fucking YouTube stuff a while ago, about different lightsabers and stuff, but there's so many different colors I sort of forgot.
Well,
Um,
my knowledge is all
Yellow is
based
a
from
balance.
Knights of the Old Republic. So
Yep,
blue's the Guardian, and they're more melee focused.
yep.
Then green's
And
more,
green rely more on the force.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
And I
what
think
was
yellow is meant to
orange?
be
Oh yeah,
sort of
is
a
that
balance,
balance
is
of
my
both?
understanding.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then red's the corruption, isn't it? So when they
Yep,
go,
yep, yep.
and then purple's just because Mace Windu or
Because
Samuel Jackson wanted to
Samuel
stand out.
Jackson gets his way. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
wasn't it? Because he
they
wanted.
they did they did invent some like because of his character, purple now in lore is meant to be like if you're fighting for the Jedi, but you do embrace some of the dark side for good, and that's why Mace. Well, they've it's sort of retrospectively, but Mace has that bit of he has a bit of a gray area. He sort of does some dodgy things, like he wanted to kill Palpatine, and Anakin's like, no, that's not the Jedi way. Um, yeah, that's supposedly what purple is.
Yeah, right.
But we're discussing yellow.
Yeah, I'm a little bit sad that they're not going down the lines of like I guess, what do they call it now? Like the extended, it's not canon anymore, but all the previous history or like all the novels and stuff that they had, like the expanded
Sure.
universe. They,
Mm-hmm.
because Disney went, no, we're scrapping all that and doing their own thing. Where I've read a number of the books where like Luke rebuilt the Jedi Order and he's like
Mm-hmm.
the strongest person ever. Like, I don't know. I was so invested
Yeah.
into Luke Skywalker that I was like, well, I kind of want to see him rebuild the glory of
Yeah.
the Jedi.
And it paints a bit of a confusing picture because I don't know what is meant to be part of this canon anymore. Like I sort of do, but there's also some elements of the books and like graphic novels and stuff that they still refer to as canon. So there's a lot of grey, and it's kind of for me who is nowhere near as in depth as like our mate grads. Um, for me, I get a little confused sometimes over what's actually canon.
Yeah. So, because like Han and Leia do have twins, and like one is more,
Mm.
it says, well, corrupted by the dark side. So, like, they still had all like bits and pieces from it. They've just taken their own input. I
Yeah,
guess they wanted to move away from Mark Hamill because I guess he has aged, but now they're doing what, the young Skywalker or whatever. So they're bringing out the series based on just Luke's adventures between
okay,
was
yeah,
between Strikes Back and Return. So his adventures
sure.
between then. But
I've lost track a little bit. I haven't watched Andor or Bad Batch or a lot of stuff that's coming out. I'm kind of
yeah,
overwhelmed by it all at the moment.
Yeah, right. I found Andor interesting. Like it's not the same vibe as the Star Wars realm.
Okay.
So it's more espionage kind of thing. Like I haven't seen it all, but I found it hard to connect into the Star
Mm.
Wars universe. But
That's fine. That's like I was saying about the Game of Thrones stuff. I want some side stuff that isn't to do with the epic wars that are happening. I want some stuff of, Joe Bloggs down the road managing his farm while the shit's going on around him. So, some smaller scale stuff in the Star Wars universe is probably a good thing.
yeah. But are you excited for Ray to come back and explore? I guess
I
it'd
think
be
it matters a lot more on who's handling it and how the writing team works and stuff. 3 years ago to the day on Facebook reminded me today. I posted a picture of John Favreau with the line, "Please give this man a trilogy," and
okay.
I still stand by it. I would love to give him his own trilogy and see where he takes it, or him working with what's his name, the guy he worked with on Mando,
Yeah.
whose name I've totally forgotten, which is unfair to him. Give them a trilogy and I'll be happy. So I don't care if it's Ray or not. I just think it means a lot more on who's in control.
Okay. I wouldn't mind a different take in either going Edgar Wright and having
Wow.
a real different spin on it, or Sam Raimi and going a bit darker over the top.
Yeah. I'm not against Dark Star Wars. I don't think I ever will because it's now in the same realm as Marvel, the realm of family. But
Uh,
I'm down with that.
I
That'd be
mean,
sick.
they did Deadpool, and that's still in the Disney catalog.
Yeah, but is Deadpool in the Avengers?
Is he ever in the Avengers? I don't know the ins and outs of
Neither do
all
I.
of that. So
Yeah, I just think
I guess
they have their family enormous universe, and they have their side stuff, like X-Men and Logan and stuff that they're willing to put an R rating on because it's not for a family.
okay,
I don't think they'll ever put Star Wars into the R realm. I'd love them to, but I don't think they ever will.
okay, all right, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
interesting.
Pessimistic, maybe.
Yeah. And the other one is, have you watched the trailer of the new Super Mario's? Yeah, of
I
the
have,
movie.
yeah,
And I gotta say, the animation looks great. Like I
of
think
course it does.
yeah, well, I don't know what I was expecting. I'm still thinking of the live action Super Mario film.
Yeah, no, don't.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
I remember being on school holidays and it was one of the midday movies. I used to love the
Oh,
midday
really?
movies. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I kind of enjoyed it. Like it was just
It was dumb fun when you're a kid.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
for
there was
sure.
nothing about it. And you get that random dinosaur that's just like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
just like whatever.
When you're a kid, all you care about is, oh my god, I know who that is. Oh, look at Bowser. Like
Yeah.
that's all you want as a kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't talk about that.
Nah,
I
but
don't. I'm more upset with this. I hate that it's Illumination. That's the studio behind Minions.
yep.
And before Minions, they got lucky with Despicable Me. Before that, their business model was very similar to the Asylum. Just make a whole bunch of shit as cheap as possible and hope something picks up. And they did with Minions, and it fucking took over the world. So now they got money, and now they can make stuff like this, and be funded by the superpower of Nintendo. Of course, it's going to look good. It's going to look good. It's going to sound good. It's probably going to be written well. It's going to have the right amount of jokes and be very family friendly. It's going to be extremely safe. And I'm pissed that it even is coming and exists. And why the fuck, when the man is still alive, why isn't the original Mario doing the voice? Because people care more about these fucking white actors than they do about the actual original content. And it's bullshit. I'm mad about it. I like Jack Black. I'm excited for that. But besides that,
uh,
nah,
did that hit
rant over.
hit a nerve? Did it?
It does. I'm a fucking Nintendo fanboy, and this is gonna be horse shit.
What do you think of Mario's couple of lines? Like he did a little bit.
Doesn't
Did you?
sound like Mario at all.
No, I thought the end, the Yahoo, or whatever it was all right.
Really? It sounded so unenthusiastic.
Oh well, compared to the other part where he didn't really sound like a Italian plumber at all.
Of course not. And as soon as Chris Pratt was cast, it was always going to be okay. He's just going to be himself. He's just going to sound like every character he's ever done ever. He's going to sound like, is it Star Lord, whatever his name is in
Yep.
Marvel.
Look
He's
at
just going
you.
to sound like him. Haha, joke, joke, etc. It's going to feel like Despicable Me. It's going to feel like Minions, and it's going to sell like fucking hotcakes, and it's going to sell so much merchandise, and everyone's going to make a lot of money, and they're going to do it again, and I'm going to be
Ooh.
mad every time.
Oh, what other Nintendo game could they butcher for you? Legend
Uh,
of Zelda.
I would love a good Zelda, and I would love a good Metroid.
Okay.
Metroid is such a fucking cool platform to build like a movie from, but they'll never do it properly. If they do, they'll make it some shitty animation, but they could make it an amazing live action, like really gritty. But they won't. Of course, they won't.
Did you see the Photoshop of Tom Holland to play as Link?
Oh, I did. Yep.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
reckon that actually looked all right. I was
yeah, you
impressed.
see Nintendo's response?
No.
Oh, they
Were
they
they
were like,
interested?
yeah, they said, oh, because of the attraction or the amount of interest people have had over Tom Holland playing Link, we now have him playing Link and Zelda and Ganon, and
Oh,
they just posted all these like Photoshop images of all these different characters inside the Zelda universe with Tom Holland's face.
oh
It's
wow.
fucking, it
That's
was
a great
brilliant,
reply.
isn't it?
Well played.
Exactly.
Oh, all right. I think we need to move on to Troll.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
my bad.
you're gonna get triggered, and you're gonna go,
You've already got me triggered.
and you're gonna leave. So before we get before we get to that point,
Yeah,
let's move on
let's
to
do it.
let's go to Troll. So this
Mm-hmm.
is a Norwegian film, and there's no way you're gonna laugh at this film.
Oh,
Oh
stop.
no.
I knew it was coming.
I had to get it in there. I didn't even say any jokes before because I wanted to say,
I
but
didn't let you.
yeah.
I just
But
ranted instead.
I'm gonna butcher some names in this one, so get ready for this.
We all are, don't worry.
All right, so deep in the Dovar, is that, I don't know if that's how you say it,
Dover
mountains, Dover, but I don't know what's
or
the,
Dovre?
yeah, I don't know. Let's go with that.
It's not Dover. It's not the cliffs of Dover. It's like Dovre, Dovre.
Yeah, whatever.
Deep in some mountains in Norway. Please
Yeah,
continue.
no, I'm not Norwegian, so
Mhm.
something gigantic wakes up after 1,000 years in captivity. This is more dramatic than the film. The creature
Very.
destroys everything in its path and quickly approaches Oslo? Oslo.
Oslo. Yeah.
Oslo. Got it on third try.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
It's the capital of Norway, by the way.
well, there you go. Cool. It's Norway. I knew that.
Yep.
Nothing. You gave me nothing.
it's I don't know how to even respond anymore, man. I just sound like such a fucking whiny baby on here because you stir me up.
oh, oh, so funny. But
Go.
so this is Norway's take on the whole monster movie realm in terms of the King Kong Godzilla
Creature
realm of,
feature.
yeah. So I quite liked, I would say, it's generous to say the quarter of the film, but I enjoyed
Yeah.
I enjoyed the first part and the reveal. So they've gone
Sure.
very heavy with the CGI and the troll model. I think looks incredible, and their actual reveal is great. Like they built suspense really well. The character, the troll, looked menacing, but then everything else from there just absolutely fell apart. But
We'll say while you're here, they gave us the classic reveal of the first thing we see of this dormant creature is its eye opening, just like in The Hobbit, just like in Lord of the Rings, just like in everything ever.
Yep.
So that was a little bit played out, but like you said, look cool. Please, sorry, I know I'm really interrupting, but just while we're here, I thought I'd get that out.
There's no way I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Nothing. Now you can have a sook. Now I can talk.
That's how you shut me up. Give me a bad joke.
That's right. So the start of the film opens with a father and daughter duo. They are essentially, the father's I don't know. What are those people that dig up? A paleontologist? Is that what they're called? Or archaeologists?
He?
No,
I thought he was just like a
paleontologists.
bit of a nomad. She
Uh,
is.
yeah, I thought he was too, because
Oh,
I
maybe I
don't
missed
know.
that.
I thought it was like because the father was like so well known. I don't know.
Was he?
Yeah,
Missed that.
yeah. It was because they bring up a couple of references later down the line, but that's when you've sort of checked out the film. But essentially,
Sure.
he's telling the father's doing the standard like this is the folklore, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah at the start, which is a reasonable intro, and then we get the character building that she's obviously some time has passed and she's
Mm-hmm.
leading her own expedition, and she's like she just randomly walks off like she's touched by gold or a fairy or whatever, and she just starts digging and then finds whatever she wants.
Bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, I'm gonna dig over here, and this
And they
magically finds it.
annoyed me so quickly when they fucking sorry. You got me distracted. I was gone somewhere, and then you mentioned that, and I started thinking about all the fucking shitty. As soon as they jump to the time skip, we get the fucking beep, 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 text come at the bottom of the screen with the classic. And I say classic like it's a good thing. It's not. It's fucking annoying as shit. Like Transformers did it, having the 20 years later come at the bottom of the screen. And every time the movie changed location, they would do the same thing with the
somewhere.
time and whatever.
Yeah, this is the
It's
military log. It's
yeah,
yeah,
it's really played out and it's lazy, lazy writing.
yep.
Tell me,
So
show me, don't tell me.
I'm gonna go on a rant on this part, but
Go.
these are the things that annoyed me. Essentially, after we meet her, she's on her expedition. They are drilling into the mountain, and all of a sudden, they have a big sort of explosion with the drill, and that's when we
Yep.
realize that they've awakened the creature. So
Mm-hmm.
later down the line, you've realized that after the really cool introduction of the troll, which is like you're like, oh, okay, he's going to go on a menacing, like destroying rant, kind of like what King Kong does and what Godzilla
Mm-hmm.
does. They go off and they cause a lot of panic, which we see a bit of panic by like the higher ups and obviously the country of Norway. Like we need to evacuate the main city,
Yep.
but there's an introduction of a military officer, and I hated his name, and it was cringy every single time. It was Captain Chris,
Captain
and
Chris.
they pointed out consistently, and like they didn't commit to it. So that
Yep.
was my biggest gripe. Like, if you're going to have a cheesy name and if you're going to tell bad jokes, commit to it. That's my thing. I commit to my bad jokes
It's
and it
true.
makes them funny. So I
It's
laugh at
true.
all of them. But if you do not commit, you can't sell a joke if you don't commit. It doesn't matter how funny it is. If
You
you
gotta
don't
commit.
commit, it's not funny. It's like
Did you watch Double or Sub, by the way?
I switched between the two because I was wondering which one was better. And then because I
Yep.
stopped caring, I swapped to dub, and I was like, oh,
Fair.
I'm not going to pay that much attention to it because I don't care. So
Yeah, that's fair. I watched the whole thing in sub. And I feel like Captain Chris was a little less cringy when I was reading it. It didn't seem as on the nose. But yeah, it was. It
but they
was
they didn't even look like they were having fun. They looked like they were going
no,
through the
that's no
motions.
100% the entire film.
This is the whole time.
Everyone
And then when they finally
besides
get
the
to,
dad.
oh yeah, the dad, he was the eccentric part, but he was barely
Mm-hmm.
in it. And then you've
Meant to
got
be crazy.
yeah, you've got this 8 team of people. So you've got the main girl, the officer, and then the rest of the people that are there. They've
Yeah.
seen a troll. They're from Norway. They know what the folklore is. And then when they're
Mm-hmm.
reporting to the higher ups, they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, what is it? What's coming? And she's like, yo, it's a troll. And they're like, no, it couldn't be. And then they were like,
Didn't call it a troll.
yeah, they refer to the other people as like, you 7 other people, you saw a troll,
Yes.
just like side with her, like you know that it's a troll.
Yes.
And he's like,
How is that the unbelievable part? You saw this.
and
You
like,
know the fairy tale. So like, oh, you can't say it's from a fairy tale. We just fucking saw it's from a fairy tale. What are you looking at?
it looks like a troll. It's made of stone. Like,
Literally what they hit.
it's,
I know. As soon as someone says it's from a fairy tale, everyone fucking loses their mind. Like they're not looking at the same shit.
Like, I'm sure they're getting a live feed of the creature. Like, there's no way
We
they've
see
got
that.
all. Yeah, like they need to be able to see there's a troll, and I don't know why
What would you
they.
rather call it?
It's a troll. The whole.
Exactly. It's a fucking troll.
Oh, it's. But the troll also wasn't menacing. Like, it barely caused any,
Hmm.
I guess, like destruction. And I wasn't sure if it was, I don't know the Norwegian law, but they made a lot of references to trolls not liking Christianity. Like,
Yes.
is Christianity not a big thing in Norway, or is it like frowned upon,
Well,
or is it?
it's frequently because Christianity sort of destroyed the Norwegian mythos, like like the Norse mythology.
Yeah.
All that sort of died when it was Christianized. And in fact, the only records we still have of that mythology and the reason why we're still so unsure about a lot of it is because a lot of it was written by Christians and has been sort of Christianized in its writing. So I can see that in that this creature is like the personification of the destruction of Christianity. Um, but if that's the concept, then that's what the story should be about. When they introduce that, and there's that scene when they got four fucking giant out of nowhere, like literally in the course of minutes, hours maybe, they get four enormous fucking church bells. It's attach them to helicopters, which supposedly helicopters can just lift thousands of kilograms. Um, and they just fly around in circles at this thing, and it's all like mad. And, oh, it hurts my brain, and then it just slaps them down out of the sky. If your story is going to be about this thing destroying Christianity, then that's what it should be about. They reference that once, and then they never bring it back up ever again. And at the end, the creature's motivations were to get to supposedly the palace in Oslo was built on top of the Mountain King, a troll king burial ground or some shit. So it's trying to get back there. So they throw out the Christian thing out the window. Please keep going because I know I've distracted you. But I have a lot of problems with the writing in this and how they handle this creature.
Oh, yeah. So after the Troll King, this random bloke's like, hey, look at my mansion. I built it on top of the Troll King's mansion. He's just
It's,
like
it's the royal
randomly,
palace. It's not just a mansion. It's the king of Norway's royal palace.
yeah, but he's just like, hey, come on in. Your father was really well known. You got his eyes. Like, okay,
Which she
cool.
doesn't. I hate that line because she looks nothing like him at all. Don't draw reference to it.
And then they just
Yeah, you're right. It's
just
weird.
casually stroll in and was like, hey, look at
Hmm.
all these bones. And then
Yeah,
why, if they're how well, hang on, here's the problem. They're
a lot.
yeah, they get hurt by sunlight, right?
Uh
So
huh.
sunlight burns them. Old
Hmm.
mate, when they first found him, was laying out in the open field or like the
Yeah,
crater. Why didn't he
yeah.
burn?
Because
Like,
they say later about like it's not direct sunlight. There was cloud cover. It was a misty afternoon. Some bullshit like that. Like, get fucked. Because we see later on how quickly sunlight destroys him. Like, what?
yeah.
There's no fucking sun getting through the clouds at all. Come on.
Old mate was just walking in a straight line. He wasn't like picking people up in like Attack of the Titans where they're running and like eating people. He was literally
No.
just walking his way home.
And the destruction he did do was just shit that's in his road.
Yeah, he was just
He
walking through
wasn't.
it.
Hmm. And that was like, there's a moment where when he's swatting down the fucking helicopters, and there's this young boy, young child who's about to be crushed by a helicopter, and we see the troll catch it. Um, and they're like, "Oh, there's some humanity to this creature." But then, fucking in the same scene, they're attacking this creature with like rockets and shit, and we're like, "Oh no, don't treat it so badly." Then at the end, they corner it with these fucking UV tanning bed lights, more or less, and attack it. And then the main girl Nora is like, "Oh, don't get out of here! Like we don't want to hurt you. Get out of here! Get out of here!" And then the sun rises, and this creature dies, and everyone's cheering. And yet, in the same fucking scene earlier, You were trying to get this creature to run away, and the characters and the troll flip flop so much. The characters want to save it, and then they don't, and they want to fucking murder it. And then in the next scene, they want to make sure it's alive, and then they cheer when it's dead. And the troll is just trying to get to this Mountain King hall, whatever. And in the end, it just dies. And I don't understand so much. At one point, we were attacking anything Christian, and at other points, it just doesn't. And the story makes no fucking sense. And I'm mad. And it should have been handled like. Sorry, last point. It should have been handled like Ukja or like Princess Mononoke, where it's almost like nature fighting back. And this is, this creature is this embodiment of Mother Nature, and it's like trying to fight back against Earth. And it's a human. It's like, oh, we shouldn't actually hurt it because it's just defending itself. And then at the end, we get like an Iron Giant moment where it has to sacrifice itself or some shit. It actually made me feel something for this monster. Like even in King Kong, we get that with his love, with his romance with what the fuck her name. This creature had nothing to it. It felt like just a walking mountain. I guess was kind of the point, but you can't make me feel for it and not feel for it at the same fucking time. Rant over. Please continue.
There was no climax for him, was it? It was like
no.
The ending sucked. They never really felt like they were in danger at all. Like he was just walking in a straight line to go where he needs to. The only time it was in a straight line is when you're flying a helicopter near its face. Of course it's going to bat it away when you're like ringing bells at it. Like, what are you doing, guys? Come on. But anyway, what do you reckon? The post-credit scene, did you stay around for that long?
When they tried to have a sequel.
Yeah, but there's another troll. Do you reckon?
I wrote in my notes, a sequel set up, no thanks.
What do you reckon they'll call it? Trolls?
I'd be surprised if they make it. If this does well enough. The thing is, though,
it's in the top 10, mate, on Netflix.
It's in the top like 3.
Yeah, it was top 1 for a few days too.
Just proof that anything will trend.
I mean, I think they pushed it too. Like the thumbnail looks reasonably interesting, and they only showed like the good reveal. Like they show the eye opening in the trailer. Like you're going to be at least interested in it.
And also, the size makes no sense. This one is tiny in comparison to every other one we've seen. The one we see in at the beginning, but on the mountain, it's just like, oh, I can see them. Were these literally the size of mountains, and they keep saying how it's like trolls moving. They're like the mountains are moving. This thing, we see it laying on the side of a mountain. It looks like a few rocks. Like, yes, it's big, but it doesn't look like the size of a fucking mountain.
No. Also, the thumbnail they used has them like trying to climb the face, and they look tiny.
Yeah,
they don't look that tiny when they're actually
like Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
And yet we see a skull of one on the back of a pickup truck. I say pickup truck because American.
That whole thing was so dumb. I don't even want to talk about it. It was so dumb.
It has so many inconsistencies. The CGI was good. Some of the cinematography was pretty nice, but not all of it. I feel like there's different cinematographers for different scenes. And the sound design was pretty nice. But besides that, it was pretty fucking gross.
What would you give it?
I got like a 1.5. Because I think there was still like it wasn't too long, at least. It didn't overstay its welcome. There were still some moments I liked. I kind of liked the character who, dumb motivations, but the character who was like the Prime Minister's PA or something, one who was sort of with her and Captain Chris, who was like, I'm going to be a writer. He was kind of fun at times, but in all, it's a mess of a film, and I would never recommend it to anybody.
No.
Wasted potential.
Definitely. I've flopped between a 1 and a 2, and I think I've now settled on a 1, mainly
that's fair.
because they didn't commit to their jokes, and it really hurts me that they didn't. Like they didn't even giggle, they didn't smirk. There was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it.
Steer into the skid, you reckon?
You got to. Look, like,
Mm-hmm.
have some fun. You're doing a movie that's about this massive troll. Do something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're right. It took itself really seriously. Uh-huh.
yeah, have some fun. Even Godzilla and King Kong, like, they have some
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Yeah.
You got to have fun.
With charismatic actors. Like look at Jack Black. Like I know it's an old King Kong reference now, but Jack Black and King Kong almost held the movie together.
Yeah, it was good. Oh, well, if you thought that was a mess, wait till we talk about this. For starters,
Yeah.
I hate the name. The name needs to
Yeah.
change. I don't know if it's a translation thing or if it's
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, but
But even if it is a translation thing, why can't we just do like just give it a new English name? They do that with movies released in England. They change the name for America.
okay. Yeah, this is Warriors of Future.
Mm-hmm.
it's, it's just
Sure is.
it annoys me. So it's just I don't know. You just add another word in there. Warriors of the Future would be far better, far better. Just it
Or
rolls
just
better.
Future Warriors, or
Uh,
there's a million options.
or
Yeah.
mess. Call it whatever you will.
Yep.
But this is we got to make reference that this is Hong Kong's highest grossing film.
Mm-hmm.
So good on them. Like they're obviously,
Sure.
I think this. I remember reading that it's their first, like, I guess, would you call it AAA movie? No, that's more game reference, but blockbuster. Let's go blockbuster.
Yeah.
They're big blockbuster into the sci-fi realm, and God, do they lean heavily on CGI? I'll get into that later, but
Mm-hmm.
it's it's something. So
Yeah.
a meteor brings an extra. Oh, I'm
Do
gonna.
you want to try this one?
Yeah, you do that one. I'm over it. I hate it. They need to
A
change the names.
meteorite, sure. A meteorite brings an extraterrestrial life to Earth. When powerful alien creatures threaten humanity, Commander Sing Lee's elite forces are almost wiped out, and the surviving soldier Tai Loi discovers an even bigger conspiracy.
I would have butchered that.
Spectacular.
That's something. So,
Something.
did you watch this in dub or sub?
I did what you did with the last movie. I always want to try in sub, especially when it's like actors.
Yep.
I want to actually hear the actors act, but I after about 15 20 minutes, I got sick of watching and watched it on my phone in dub so I could do other things at the same time.
Yep. So I watched probably the first 10 minutes in sub and then fell asleep.
Yep. Yep.
I actually quite I quite liked the intro. Like
Yeah.
the intro was a cool premise. Like I thought their idea and their premise was really cool at the start. So obviously
Yep.
after the meteorite comes down, essentially the world unfortunately is having some toxin problems in terms of it's uninhabitable. So they had to build all
Mm-hmm.
these sections and they're trying to like
Called Skynets.
yeah.
Basically the classic dome that we used to, but Skynet. I like the name. Skynet. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, but every time they say it, I just think of Terminator. Like every time.
Yeah,
Skynet.
of course.
Like
Yeah.
it's I don't know, whatever. I mean, if you being practical, Skynet is a practical name in terms of
I like it.
that's what it is.
Snappy.
It's on the nose though.
Of course.
But yeah.
Better than
So
dome.
yeah, whatever. So dome net or net or globe or cone. Whatever you want to call it, or glass house.
Saying things.
Things that you can go around other things.
Skynet's fine. Move on.
All right. So after the meteorite comes down and lands, it brings this plant. It's like,
Mhm.
do you ever see was it little what is it? You know the store that has the killer plant?
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one. I couldn't remember it
With
because
Seymour.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's what the plant reminds me of. So this plant all of a sudden crash lands and essentially plants itself, and all of a sudden has a magical ability to purify the atmosphere. So it puts a little bit of conflict for our people due to the plant all of a sudden is able to fix the atmosphere that they're having problems with, which is obviously very important for their survival. But it also is expanding at an alarming rate, and it's also bringing some other problems in terms of destruction and creepy crawlies.
Which I didn't really get. Like, they never really explained why this thing is trying to wipe out humans. Like, it's purifying the earth, but why is it also trying to kill us?
Just because it adds the thingo, I guess, like some danger.
I know, of course. Yeah, for writing reasons, it's convenient. I understand.
But yeah, is the plant intelligent enough to like?
Yeah, is it like a hive mind, like Ender's Game, where there's one thing controlling all of them?
I don't think it is. I don't know. I think it was just a plant.
I think we're giving it too much credit.
Yeah, I think it's a plant.
They didn't think about this. Why should we?
Just consumes like whatever it wants. Like, I'm not sure if it's just, I don't know, feeding on the bad toxin in the air and is like all of a sudden growing, and that's
the humans, the bad toxins.
Yeah, whatever. Because I don't care.
Which could have been cool. Like, if that's what the movie was. If the movie was this thing has come, I guess this is a parallel to the Troll. But like, if this movie was an environmental thing, and it was humans are the real bad guys, and are we dooming the earth if we try and wipe this thing out? Should we let it run its course? If that was the big moral thing of the story, then I think that could have been handled well and been kind of interesting. But no, there was no deeper moral meaning to this.
No, I also think they forgot the story after the intro. I reckon that they went, let's make this to try and be this futuristic, stylish thing, but then they forgot about the story, and there's literally over half of the film where it makes no progress of the story. It's literally just them moving about and essentially getting ready to, I guess, attack the plant. So this bare bones story is the plant is helping them in terms of clearing the atmosphere, but it's expanding at an alarming rate and is bringing bugs. This, I guess, scientist all of a sudden comes up with a cure that he's like, this works in theory. All you need to do is get into the plant and throw it in, and it'll
into the pistol. They kept calling it. You have to get into the pistol.
Yeah, whatever
his name,
whatever that is, but you had to get in there, and they have to give it the toxin to save the day. But in between all of that, that's it in terms of the story, there is these guys that had to go out, and they had to go on the mission to do it. I didn't understand the relationship between I can't remember the bloke's name because
no one's name. Don't worry.
Stop caring. It's either
there's young soldier guy, old soldier guy.
The main one with the girlfriend, and his whole motive in terms of him pushing himself to really survive is that he needed to get back to his girlfriend because he made a promise to fix her watch. Did you see that part?
Yeah.
Like, what? You could have done anything. She could have been pregnant. She could have been like just an emotional connection. But no, it had to be about him getting back and fixing her watch. Like, you're in the future. It's not even like a G-Shock. It's this early like Barley's knockoff.
It's a P-Shock.
It's a terrible watch to even like come back and fix. I don't know what the emotional connection it was to the watch, but
I don't know if they're trying to be symbolic or clever or something. Like, watch is about time or some bullshit. But I don't know.
It could have been a Rolex. It could have been anything.
I don't think the watch is what mattered, man. I think it's about getting back to her. But the way you're right, the way it was presented made it look like he was fucking hell bent on fixing this watch.
I was kind of like excited to see him get back and like fix the watch, but they
fix this fucking watch.
They never turned her around.
Boss.
They never came back and like fixed the watch. They just kind of
did he fix the watch or didn't he? No, here we go. Set up now.
That would have been more exciting. Like, have you ever seen the inside of a watch? It's pretty impressive. Like, especially the old like the self tickers or like the ones that that's
the wind
impressive.
up ones. I got one of them.
Impressive.
It is
I would have been so
more
much.
impressive than this movie.
Oh my god! But I don't know what the cinematographers were thinking when there's any action scene and these guys somehow get these mecha suits. There was this final.
Yeah,
No, we'll go back to the bugs. I'll start at the bugs because that's the first
sure.
introduction we
That's
have
the
to
first.
the combat.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
bugs look shit house. The CGI looks good in parts, but also as soon as the bugs come on, they look terrible. Like it, they
Yeah.
don't look 3D. They don't look like they're actually in the environment. They look like they're rendered in. Like it looks like they're still kind of rendering, and they're struggling to do it. They're for some
They
reason.
looked okay. Go on. Sorry.
Some reason they jump in and the camera changes to point of view as they're like trying to climb over stuff.
Mhm.
There's a couple of shots where it was like actual looking down the gun. Hate it. I hate any first person.
I know you do, yeah.
It's so annoying. I don't want to see first person. Like if I wanted to do that, I'd do VR or something. I want to see the characters.
Yeah. There's a lot of they tried to be in the action scenes, they tried to be overly clever and try to do some really, really wild shots. And I think some of them paid off. Some of it was like, wow, that was cool. But only because there were fight scenes and our main sort of two soldier guys, they're in these, as you said, these like mecha suits that like enhance your strength and speed and jump and whatever else. And the scenes that we see them in combat, they have this like helmet come over. And as soon as the helmet comes down, the entire scene is CG. And that's when the bugs looked real, but only in a fake world because those entire scenes were built on a computer. They felt like Halo cutscenes more than anything I've seen.
Did you see the guy's face? You know, like when the mecha suits are fighting and they cut back and he's like, he's like the little movement.
We get that like Iron Man inside the visor look.
But they do it so often, especially in that last mecha fight. It's just that bloke. Imagine trying to act that. He's like, he's like every movement.
Even the voice acting, because like I watched probably, like I said, probably about 20, maybe 30 minutes in sub first. And I was still giggling at the voices then inside the suits because they just feel like a guy sitting in a recording studio reading lines going, ooh, and they just dubbed it over the top. And it was probably worse in English, but it was still really, really bad.
Oh, the whole thing. Especially, I don't know what the cinematographers were thinking, but in the fight scenes, there was parts where the camera moved so quick, everything was a blur.
Yes.
Like, what in the hell are you doing? Like,
and that's what they did to hide shit, I reckon.
Let me see what the hell's going on. It was like, you know, when Jason Bourne, I can't remember which one, but where they went to the really quick edits in terms of the fight scenes, where they were like, I guess they went from 1 second cuts to like 0.5 of a second or whatever it was.
Yeah, I remember that being a talking point. I can't actually picture those scenes. I've only seen them like once or some of them not at all.
Yeah,
but I know what you mean.
So like it became a big thing where everyone all of a sudden cut down the scene lengths. And it was like really hard to see what was happening, but they wanted to go for that like impact so they could show like real quick cuts and
Transformers.
This like happened, but like I want to see the action, like have good like choreography and allow me to see the action.
Yes,
that's what I like about martial arts film because they practice and they have good choreography. Like show me that. Like if you're, I guess
I'll always refer back to the first Kingsman movie. And the fight scene in the church. I'm not sure if you can recall.
That's a great scene. That's like one
that's
take.
All one. Yeah, there's a couple tricks here and there to make it look like it, but yeah, it's more or less one continuous shot. And like you say, you can take it in, and that would have taken days, if not weeks, of choreographing and rehearsing, and because even the camera, like the cinematographer, needs to have a level of rehearsal and choreography in their movements. But that's hard, supposedly. It's easier to get a whole bunch of underpaid editors on a screen and make them do the entire thing inside a computer. Same with all the flying scenes when they're flying around in their helicopter at the start. Most of this movie, I would say probably the majority, was CGI. And even the bits where we're seeing the robots jump around, we can see their helmets open. They're just face swapped in. Like, so much of this is made behind a desk, and it shows and it has no character and it's boring as shit.
Yep. The most exciting thing is to see if he's going to survive to go fix the watch. Which you didn't
get a fucking conclusion to. What
Yeah.
happened to the watch?
It's so annoying. I don't know. I don't care about this film.
There was I've got a couple of notes here that made me laugh reading through them. There was a slow chair reveal when they first showed the president or whatever he was, the prime minister or president, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had this full like slow reveal in his chair.
The old James Bond reveals.
Yeah. It was really, really ridiculous. Did you notice whenever they tried to do slow-mo, the frames would drop? It really felt as if they filmed the entire thing in like 30 FPS. And when they tried slowing it down, they're dropping down to like 15 frames or some shit. Because there were some sections that were really, really, really low frames.
I don't know. I can't say I paid that much attention to it.
Right. I probably paid too much attention. I get annoyed when stories introduce a plot that can be reasoned away. They kept saying that if we don't kill this thing in this amount of time, then plan B is to kill 160,000 people because we can't evacuate. Evacuating is dangerous. But fucking Ukraine have proved that evacuations can be done safely with the correct instructions. I hate when movies just because of plot convenience. They kept saying that the entire movie we can't fail this mission because if we do, plan B is they're going to kill 160,000 people. And it's fucking bullshit. They had like 24 hours to evacuate this place. And they're just not. They're not even trying. Dumb. They reference Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which I really liked.
Oh, that's right. Why do they have an over-eccentric character? Is he just there for comic relief?
Yes.
Like, he's so annoying. Like,
awesome! It is awesome!
He wasn't funny,
so annoying.
Though.
No. They wanted him to be funny. And maybe in Hong Kong cinemas, he is really funny.
Maybe. I guess.
But he didn't come across to me at all. No.
Oh,
one moment I thought, okay, this is kind of redeemable, is when old mate, main old soldier, he dies, and he sort of sacrifices himself for the mission, and that was awesome. And I was on board with that. And I thought at that point there was also moments later where some other characters were getting close to death, and I thought, fuck, everyone's going to die except for our main young soldier guy. And I really liked that. And then in the end, everyone came back, including the guy who died, and he just walks in and saves the day. And it to me ruined any sort of validity that it had. Yeah. Rating, it was a 1. It was not entertaining.
Nope. I agree. It's definitely a 1. I would have given it a 2 if they showed me if he got back and fixed the watch or not.
Fix that fucking watch.
I'm stuck on it. I can't get off it. So
obviously not.
It annoys me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the other parts I can forgive. Well, not really, but
not the watch.
Not the watch.
No,
it wasn't even a good watch.
Unredeemable.
No, you're done.
You're done.
It's like not committing to your jokes. Like if you're going to give me that plot line, flesh it out.
Yeah, you got to commit. I need to know.
Like, how'd you get that watch? Was it gifted? Was it? I was wearing this watch when I first met you.
Did it have some engraving on the back? Was it made with the teeth of Uncle Fest?
Like I don't know. I guess it just needed a new battery because it didn't even have anything on the screen.
Yeah,
like, I feel like that's
problem solved.
That's an easy fix. Oh, but all right, I'm done. I'm not talking about the watch anymore. I've taken up.
Yeah, no, it was a waste.
Too much of your time on that one.
It was a waste.
All right.
What?
So,
time watch. I get it.
Watch. Yep, got it.
No,
there's no way you're gonna laugh at that.
No, there's not.
Oh, look at you cringing.
Batman.
All right, we're going to move on to Batman. So earlier in the year, I did a review on this on YouTube. That's when I was doing my 3-minute or under reviews and pushing them everywhere. And I actually spoke to you about this film to go see it. So I want you to give your, I guess, opinions and introduction, and then I will jump into my original points because they still haven't
Okay.
changed on the rewatch.
Sure. So, synopsis then is well, it's Batman. We know it's the story of Batman. When a sadistic serial killer begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and questions his family's involvement. The story follows, obviously, Batman. The time this is sort of early in his career, and he's known by the public as Vengeance. No one really refers to him as Batman except for the Riddler, who is the main sort of antagonist in this film. Um, I mean, I'm gonna go straight into what I thought was fucking good. I heard it was pretty good initially. Had some students and some other people and whatever else say that it was pretty decent, and it's very hard not to go into this with the mindset of Dark Knight, or at least with thinking about Dark Knight. You know, you're either going to go down Batman road of the classic campy silliness that it was up until the Dark Knight trilogy, or you're going to get compared to Dark Knight. Like, it's just the way that it is.
I don't know. The Tim Burton one was pretty good, and then they went into that silliness.
I still think Tim Burton's one was pretty silly.
Oh no, compared to the others, I thought
compared to the others, there's no shark repellent bat spray, but it's still pretty fucking silly.
Or Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I really liked the bad guy. Growing up with Jim Carrey as the Riddler, sort of gave me preconceptions of what the Riddler was going to be. Where this was much more like almost like the Zodiac Killer, or did you ever watch Seven? Movie Seven?
Yeah, we disagree on Seven. I remember.
We disagree. It's one of my favorite films ever.
Yeah.
It's like frequently my number one movie.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
You're not a fan?
Oh, it was okay. I just don't think it's as good as you think it is.
I think it's fucking spectacular.
Yeah.
So yeah, he felt more like that to me, which took me a little while to get used to, but that I think that's good. Like, this film, more than any other Batman, felt the most grounded, almost like Gotham could almost be like a New York in a way, whereas in previous films, and the way that Gotham sort of usually depicted is it's just this city of utter chaos and scum, which is meant to be, but because it's so chaotic and so dangerous, it doesn't feel realistic in a way in our world, whereas this did. I think we also had, you know, elements of grounding with his portrayal. I think Rob Pattinson did an amazing job of this character. I really like this Batman. I haven't seen the Ben Affleck Batman at all. I didn't watch any of those, sort of through choice. But this Batman feels sort of how a billionaire with past trauma would. Like, he's antisocial. He doesn't come out very often. When he does, everyone's like, oh my God, it's him. He is sort of weird around people, you know, feels grounded. I liked that we saw him with eye makeup on rather than trying to hide it like previous Batman movies. Because again, it feels grounded. Like, why wouldn't this guy wear eye makeup to look, you know, more dark? I liked all the gloomy seasons, all gloomy scenes where we're looking at shadows, and he keeps saying like, I'm coming out of the shadows, and we get those really wide shots of him escaping from the shadows. I'll say shadows again. I think they use silence really well. I've got heaps of shit. I mean, I don't know where to stop here. This movie was really good. I think in general, though, I liked this depiction of Batman. I would almost say my favorite depiction of Batman.
Ooh, big cool.
Not my favorite Batman movie, but this is probably my favorite Batman. Okay. I really like I'm sick of Batman being played as this charismatic philanthropist getting all the ladies and whatever, because it doesn't, to me, it's never really made sense. And I guess it's almost like that Superman Clark Kent, where we have these polar opposites. But I feel a character, and I keep using the word grounded, but I think it's the best word for it. A character feels more grounded, more realistic when his persona isn't a total opposite. You know, I think what's his name? the Riddler in this even says, the guy in the mask is the real you. And I like that. And he's not, playing this philanthropist, charismatic best friend ever in the rest of the world.
All right, I'm going to throw this out to you. So,
Okay.
my understanding of Batman, and I'm a big fan of Batman, and this is what I think makes the best Batman. So, if you're going to play Batman, you need to be able to play 3 characters, right? So, all in one role, you need to be able to play these 3. So, you need to be able to play the Batman. So, when you've got the mask on, you need to be obviously this dark superhero.
Yep.
And then you need to be able to play Bruce Wayne. So Bruce Wayne is the rich millionaire that is obviously running his company and is the figurehead.
Yep.
So he's meant to be the charismatic sort of character. And then you need to be able to play, we'll call him Bruce. So Bruce is the person that he is when he's not in the mask and he's not being the figurehead of Bruce Wayne, but it's the character that only Alfred really gets to see.
Yes.
So
Fair.
for me, Robert Pattinson did a fantastic job as Batman, but he played the dark, gloomy Batman in every single scene. Even when the mask was off, he was the same character. He didn't have the interactions with him and Alfred, so he didn't have that separation. Even as Bruce Wayne, there was no separation. So I think his Batman was really good, but he did not play the other 2. And that's that.
Well, I'm saying it's a good thing that he didn't.
No, because you need to have that. Like you had those scenes.
I disagree.
No, you had the couple of scenes with Alfred, and you needed to see the difference between him.
You saw the connection with Alfred.
No,
but I don't think we need a charismatic philanthropist Batman. I really don't. I really like this almost outcast of a Batman. I like it.
Okay. I don't know. I still think you've got the Bruce Wayne that needs to be the figurehead. Like you don't have to show it. Like I would have been fine for them just to have the focus on him as Batman and as the Bruce character where it's just him and Alfred. Like we didn't need it. Like if he's not that well known, we don't need that establishment. Like this film did a really good job in terms of all the other Batman films are mainly about the villains, where this was about Batman. So he's in about 95% of the shots. So like it's Batman's pretty much in every shot.
Yes, and it's very much through his lens, and we learn information as he learned information. Whereas Dark Knight, we learned a lot about the Joker without the Batman.
Yeah, so like obviously Dark Knight, the big standout is the Joker. Like it's the standout isn't Batman.
Exactly. I forget who even played Batman in that movie.
Christian Bale.
I know. No, I know, but that's like I have to remind myself,
Who's your favorite Batman then?
This one.
Okay.
I'm not, again, I don't have a huge history with Batman, and I'm sure that a lot of people who do prefer the source material can say that this is nothing like the real Batman, but I think that's a good thing. I think that's one thing that every scene in the Dark Knight or the Dark Knight trilogy where it's Christian Bale being charismatic at a party or, womanizing or manipulating a crowd of men or whatever. I didn't like them. I just kind of got bored, and I like this Batman. I like an edgy emo fucking outsider Batman. That's Batman I like.
Okay. I had a problem when they originally cast him. I also had a problem that he refused to work out for Batman. It annoyed me.
Which I also like.
No. So you've got Batman who essentially he's meant to be trained in pretty much every martial art that there is. And he's meant to be, his whole focus is to be bigger, stronger, faster than everyone. But the scene where he's just walking with his top off, like these like rhomboids and his traps, they're not really developed at all. Like I would have liked, you could have trained for 6 months, like put a little bit more muscle on. You don't have to go like as far as Christian Bale went and all those other guys, but you still need to have an impressive physique where he
disagree.
No, that's what Batman needs to be. He's a superhero.
You're Batman, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. And that's Like he could have easily been the best Batman, but he didn't hit the other two roles for me, and he didn't work out for
Sure.
it. Why can't you work out for it? Like you're meant to be this buff sort of. You don't have. I guess you don't have to be. Even the games, he's massive. You don't have to be massive, but you do need to look like an athlete.
Yeah, to be a superhero maybe, but
He's meant to be a superhero.
he's more of a detective in this movie. Like he has some fight scenes, sure, but they're not the scenes that he's Batman. He's Batman when he's investigating and following leads and solving riddles, and I think that's what this Batman needed. I'm glad it's nothing like that Batman.
Nah, you could have
I
put
can
on a
see where
bit.
you're coming from, and I know that a lot of people would agree with you, but I like this Batman.
Yeah,
This is my favorite Batman.
yeah. All right, cool. We'll agree to
He pulls some
disagree on
goofy
that.
ass faces. I'll forgive you that. There were some
Yeah.
moments that he I had a little giggle at his face, but yeah,
Also,
I think
how
go on.
good was Colin Farrell as the Penguin?
Yeah,
Unrecognizable.
I did not know it was him
So
until I looked
good,
it up after.
right? It's so
Mm.
good. His portrayal was great.
I'm usually not a big Colin Farrell fan. I don't mind him, but I've
He's
never
very hit and
loved
miss.
him in anything. Yeah, but he was pretty cool in this. I want more Penguin. I
Have
was
you
kind of
seen?
disappointed how little he got.
Yeah. Did you see Photo Booth with Colin Farrell?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was probably one of his better films.
yeah, sure,
Also,
better.
the Riddler, Paul, he's from Little Miss Sunshine. I thought he was great.
Yeah,
Like I like
yeah, he's in lots.
sadisticness of the Riddler, where obviously you said
Felt more like
Jim Carrey with his goofy as
yeah,
portrayal.
of course, very different.
I like their focus of Catwoman, so like Selena Kyle and Bruce
Mm-hmm.
Wayne, because they have that
Mm-hmm.
sort of on and off source material sort of relationship where she's
Yeah,
very, I guess you'd call her what, neutral, pretty much. So
yeah, she is
yeah, although she's
very much so.
yeah, as long as it benefits her.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did a reasonable portrayal of her.
Yeah, I
Uh,
liked her.
yeah,
I don't have a huge connection to Catwoman either, but I think she was good. She wasn't. They sometimes play Catwoman. I mean, I know I'm comparing it to Halle Berry dog shit, but my introduction to Catwoman has always been very like she's too seductive, and everything she says and does is about being sexy, and it's over the top and silly.
yep,
This character felt again grounded.
yeah. Also, Gotham, I thought they did a great portrayal in terms of it's a cesspool, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
one man in the all the other films. It feels like one man is able to essentially clean up an entire city, but there's no
Yeah,
way that one man would be able to stop that amount of crime to even really
exactly.
make that much of a dent. And that's what it felt like. Like they did a
Definitely.
really good job of that, and essentially him working with the police force would
Mm-hmm.
allow that's where that whole connection, like it felt like it was a driving motive rather than just like, hey,
Yes.
I'm Batman, I'm here to save the day. And the police pretty much didn't
Yes.
do anything until Batman had done something, where the police were still out doing their jobs, where
Mm-hmm.
he was like helping obviously the bigger sort of criminals, I
Yeah.
guess, rather than
And
the
we
petty
see,
crimes.
like you said, you mentioned, um, we see that struggle. We see that he even says in the opening monologue, um, I feel like I can't make a dent, or he says like I'm not making a difference, something like that. Um, but that's his character journey, and through the film, he's known as Vengeance, and then the end, when he's asking sort of some random bad guy, what's happening, why are you doing this, and he says, oh, who are you, or whatever. He says, I'm Vengeance, and you see that like moment almost click for Batman to realize that the city, as much as you want to rule with fear, the city doesn't need more fear. The city needs hope. And we see that evolution of him. The first civilian we see him interact with, the civilian runs away. The last civilian we see him interact with, the civilian is trying to hold on to him as he's carrying him out of the building. We see him go from a feared character to a loved hero. And like, I keep referring back to being my favorite Batman, but I think because he was meant to be this vengeance, this just a personification of fear. I think that suited his character so much more. Uh, if they did a sequel, I'd probably be okay if he became a little bit more charismatic because he knows what it feels like to be a hero now. But at the time, he didn't.
Yeah, well, Matt Reeves, he is doing the Untitled, the Batman spin-off, which is a TV series, Batman, the Cape Crusader TV series, and The Penguin. He is a producer in the TV series. So
series, okay. Is it still Colin Farrell?
I have no idea. It just says for next year. I don't think they're filming yet.
Sure.
Is upcoming. So, but yeah, I was very impressed with his capture of the direction that they wanted to go. Very, very good film. Like, there's not that much. It's very long. I wouldn't mind it to drop like half an hour.
I agree.
There's probably
there was definitely sections where when he was in detective mode, that things were just delivered to us. They didn't really feel earned, and they could have disappeared. There's probably about half an hour that I think could have been cut from this.
Yeah,
but I'm still pretty engaged. I'm still like, this is going to go into my rotation of rewatch for sure.
Yeah, right. It's a long film to rewatch it.
Even better.
Yeah. What would you give it?
Probably 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4.5. I think make it a little bit shorter, and it could be in a 5. But great depiction of Batman. I mean, we didn't mention the fucking cinematography. I can't believe how good this movie looked. Just insane. I haven't since The Dark Knight. I haven't seen this much care taken with something like this. It's fucking beautiful. But yeah, like a 4.5. It's amazing.
That's solid. Yeah, I gave it a 4. It's a very solid film. I just have problems with his other portrayals of the Batman character, as I went over earlier.
That.
Yeah, that's because that's what I want from a Batman and any superhero really, and that's kind of what I've built my whole persona around from back in the day. So, I would be
4.5 for sure.
A buff Spider-Man with the one-liners.
And I was annoyed that it was Alfred died. Like, he died, then he didn't die. Like, you're gonna kill someone, kill him.
You can't kill him.
Same shit happened in fucking.
Well, nah.
Why not?
They wouldn't be able to. You can't kill Alfred.
Of course you can.
You can't.
If you want a fucking emo dog shit Batman, then you kill his fucking only friend in the world.
Yeah, but that would turn him into murder. He'd lose it.
Yeah,
and
that's fine. I don't.
Batman. Yeah,
make him a bad guy instead.
Yeah, well, who knows? But we've got a very exciting lineup for you guys next week. I'll do the intro next week.
Yep, you sure will.
So you'll have Pinocchio, which is on Netflix, which is Del Toro's newest outing. And one of my favorite games, which is from BioWare's, is Dragon Age. So Dragon Age is now getting a animated adaptation. It's a whole new cast and new characters called Dragon Age Absolution, which is on Netflix as well. It's a series which looks, you said the animation style looked very similar to Avatar: The Last Airbender, which you're excited about. And a new segment is what we're going to do is next week. It's called Does It Hold Up Still? And it is the beloved classic, The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. So
yeah, buddy.
Yeah. I actually haven't watched that for a few
yeah. I haven't watched it since probably teenager, if not younger.
My go-tos at the moment are obviously Grinch, National Lampoons, and I don't know. That's about it.
Grinch is spectacular.
Yeah. I'm talking about the animated one. We don't actually watch. We used to watch the other one, but the animated one definitely took over. So, yeah, that's exciting. So, as usual, if anyone's got any connections to Under Armour, we'll hit them up, and we'd really like them to.
I forget every week, and then it just comes out. I'm reminded.
So that'd be great if you could
tell your friends.
That. Yeah, tell all your friends, tell your acquaintances. Have a great day, and see you guys next week.
Love yous.
Bye.